There's a new trend emerging in health and dieting circles. Maybe you've heard of it. Fasting. Classically, we've been told not to wait too long in between eating our meals, that our bodies will enter starvation mode and that this is a bad thing. But it turns out things might be a little bit more complicated than that. For instance, when animals are put into fasted states over the course of their lives, they actually tend to live longer. And we think that this could be true of people, at least for otherwise healthy individuals. But for my work, I'm actually interested in understanding how fasting impacts things like different neuromuscular diseases, like ALS or muscle wasting disease. We actually collect biopsies from different neuromuscular patients and we grow their cells in living cultures. We then take beautiful glowing fluorescent molecules and we attach them to important functional proteins in the cells. This, paired with incredibly high-powered microscopes, allows us to monitor how treatments like stress or fasting impacts the cells in real time. You see, when cells are bathing in nutrients, they tend to prioritize things like growth and protein production. But when your cells are fasted, priorities change. It doesn't make sense to keep growing if you haven't got the materials to grow. So instead, cells have switched over to what is essentially a cellular house cleaning process. This process is called autophagy, and it literally means self-eating. And the entire process of autophagy can be likened to collecting up all your garbage and recyclables and putting it to the curb, the man that comes and picks it up and puts it in his truck and drives it to the recycling plant, where old things can become new again. And so it's incredibly important that this process of autophagy remains highly efficient over the course of our lives, because cells, unlike people, don't have garbage dumps. Because when garbage builds up in the cell will die. And when we've been able to identify genes and mutations that cause different neuromuscular diseases, we find that they tend to converge to the autophagy pathway. Most of your organs will completely renew their cells within a few years, but this isn't the case with neurons and muscle cells, which undergo cell division very rarely, if ever. If garbage builds up in these cells and they die, there's no population of cells that can divide quickly to take their place, leading to progressive movement disorders and paralysis. Which is why, for my project, I'd like to answer the following question. Can increasing autophagy through fasting help these cells, or will it ultimately harm them? Thank you.